Okay, we are starting the class, and then I'm gonna share the audio of my computer. As you can see, I have my server already on. Okay, I have the folder, and then I have these materials with your content. Okay, the first thing that I want you to do, guys, is first of all, download this program, which is called processing. Okay, you will have time for doing that. Okay, you will then download it, and once that you have it downloaded, okay, you will have an application that you can run. Let me open it. How can I open it? Mm, you will be able to open it by I will open one of these ones just because I don't know where is it located. So can you see the screen? If you don't see the screen, let me know, please. This is just a small thing that I want you to do, guys, and you will have a window like this one. Okay, this is a programming language by itself. It is based on Java, so it's very similar to Java in that sense. Okay, and it's very similar because if I do println and I say hello, okay, println will be posted on the console, right? As simple as that. Now, if I do something like, if I run it with oh, actually, if I run it, in addition to that, I will have a small window like this one, okay? Like the one that we have here, which is actually it is actually 100 pixels wide, okay, 100 pixels wide, and 100 pixels high, okay, and it's gray. As you can see, the color is gray, okay. It's gray, okay. I can change the size. I can change the size of my application by setting up parameters on this function. For example, 400 and 400. If I run it, now it is 500 times 500. Okay? If I change the, if I run this function, you will have now, okay, you will have now a way for setting up the colors, okay? Now it's white, okay? There is something that you have to understand. There are many ways for representing colors, many ways for representing colors. Therefore, if you, okay, define it with one number only, okay? 0 is equal black, and 255 is equal white, and it is a gradient between black and white, green scale, right? If you use this with 3 parameters, okay, with 3 numbers, number 1, number 2, and number 3, this is channel red, green, and blue. Okay, maybe this is something that you already know very well. Okay, you follow that, right? So if that is the case, you can also say 0 and 0. And could you tell me what are we gonna see here? Anybody could tell me, please, what are we gonna see when I run this?
It's gonna be red.
It's gonna be a red square. Okay, simple, right? Now, if I decide to draw something, okay, like circle, okay, circle, and then I write, I want a circle on pixel 40, 40, and I want it to be 60 width. Now we're gonna have this small drawing, right? Where this is 500 pixels, 500 pixels, right? And where we are gonna have, yeah, on this point, okay, can you see my screen? Is coordinate 400. 400 is here, is the open coordinate, and 60 is 60 here, and 60 pixels here. You follow that? Yes?
Yes.
Is that clear? Clear? I guess yes, right? Now, if I want to write, if I want to avoid the white circle, the black surrounding, can you see here the circle is surrounded by the circle is surrounded by, ooh, sorry, the circle is surrounded by a black arrow, by a black ring, right? That's because it has something. You have the stroke for setting up the color, green and blue, okay? And then you have the fill for setting up the color of the internal part. So could you tell me what is gonna happen here now that I'm doing this? If you are so kind to tell me what is gonna happen with this piece of code. Can anybody describe me what is gonna happen with this piece of code?
The circle is going to be green and the like ring is going to be blue.
Okay, and where is it gonna be located?
Wait. I don't know if it's gonna be located
Near
It's
this.
almost in the middle.
Pardon me?
That it's gonna be in the, well, not in the exactly middle part, but it's gonna be closed by the center part.
Close to the center, exactly. So we have red internal, a blue, although maybe we cannot see it very well, a blue 1 pixel with a ring, and green. If we don't want to have a, a stroke, we can just say no stroke, okay? Which is another function that we have here, and therefore now we do not have any ring, okay? I hope that is clear, okay? Now, if that is the case, okay, if that is the case, I want you to see that if we go to the reference of the code, we will go to a web page where we have all the functions. This is similar to Control D in Super Collider, and this is similar to the Web Audio API description about the different functions, right? So here we can see how is circle working, right? For example, if you, let me increase that, okay? And this is the place where you are saying, where you can see the different syntaxes, right? And here is telling you, obviously, it's very simple, telling you that circle requires 3 parameters, right? The first one should be a number. The second one should be also a number for the y coordinate. And the third number means also a float number, okay? That should be way clearer, right? So I have a question. Okay, and now one more detail about this. If we run this program as it is right now, okay, this application paints the screen just one time, and then the program is finished. Now nothing happens, right? this program offers the ability to create animations. In order to create animations, you need to extend these and you need to write these functions. Okay, you need first the function setup, okay, and you need the function draw, okay. And then I will move my background. Oh, well, actually, I'm gonna move my circle towards here, okay. Is that okay? If I run this program, there is a huge difference in sense of the computer CPU, but not in the animation, because what we are saying here is that the program should be painting the circle all the time on the same location. Therefore, we cannot see anything. But this is happening. This is happening repeatedly, or in loop at high speed. Okay, this is happening constantly. So if I create, okay, this is a function. This is a function that happens only at the beginning. Beginning one time. I think I have a typo there. Beginning beginning. Is that fine? I think yes. And then this is happening in loop. Okay. In loop. Now this is size, color, no fill, color, a circle. So this is a section for global variables. Okay, I'm gonna int and I'm gonna call it position X. Okay, this is a global variable, and then I can use this for setting up the position X, right? So what happens if I say position X it's equal, or position X plus? Could you tell me, guys, what is going to happen with this application? Anybody of you?
It will be a circle with, well, just one pixel bigger than the other one.
Oh no,
It's going to move 1 pixel
it's
in
going
the
to
x-axis.
All right, it's the position, right?
Because this is position, X, Y, and size. Okay, that means that these will be moving one by one. So if I run the application, it's moving, right? Now, can you tell me why is it doing, why are we watching a big line if it's supposed to be a circle?
Because the previous circle is not deleting or resetting.
Exactly, and what can we do in order to fix that? What would be a good idea in order to do that?
A function?
Okay, actually, yes, but not writing a function, but calling a function, okay? So if at the beginning of draw you say, first, repaint all the screen again, okay, all the background, you have to paint all the background, and then paint the circle. Now, the previous one is a refresh, right?
Right.
Okay. Is it clear for you guys? Is this any question at this point? No?
Yeah,
No.
what was pose X, no, pose X plus 4?
Estefania, was it you?
I'm asking what was pose X for?
Oh, because this is a variable, okay, that we will be increasing by 1, and the pose x is the variable that we are using for, instead of having a fixed number here, because if we have a fixed number here, right, the circle will be in the place, on the same place all the time, right? All the time. But if we make it a variable, okay, and we increase, okay, we increase the variable on each loop that is happening, because this thing is looping constantly. That means, let me see. Oh, sorry. If we, okay. Steph, remember that draw is looping and looping. That means that this is happening all the time and going back and then going again, and it's looping and looping. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, this is happening all the time. That means that every 10 times per second or something, you have a screen, okay? You put it red, so you put everything red, okay? Then you write the circle on the position, okay, on the position of position X, which is the value of position X at the beginning of the program, Steph.
I mean, I don't see it has any value.
Yeah, that is true. If you don't put any value, it will have a value of 0. Okay? So you're gonna write a circle on the position 0. Okay? Now, position X is updated. If it was 0, what will be the value at this point?
0.
Yeah, but oh, do you know this little symbol? Do you understand this little symbol?
Yeah, it means like it's like not a tool, but something that's gonna make like the drawing like moving.
No, no, no. What does plus plus mean?
For
Plus one.
moving,
Plus one.
Yes, plus 1. That means this is the same that's saying position X is equal to position X plus 1. This is just a shortcut. This is just an abbreviation for saying this, position X equal to position X plus 1. So if it was 0, at this point, what is the value now?
1.
It's 1. That means that now on the second, this was the first try. On the second try, one more time. Draw the screen, draw the background, and now we'll be painting with value of 1, right? So it's gonna be a little bit to the right. And then I will ask Steph. Steph, what is the value of position 1 now?
It is 2.
It's gonna be 2, right? And then third try, paint, background with red, circle with value of, now this thing has a 3. So we'll go and we write it here. Because this is happening too fast, you will have the feeling, the visual feeling that is moving, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, well, this is the basic logic of this. It has many other properties. This small program has many other properties. For example, instead of doing a variable, right? Instead of doing a variable like this one, we can write mouse X, okay? The value of mouse X. And in that case, now the mouse is moving, the circle is moving based on my mouse. Okay, but only on the X, the Y domain. Could you please tell me what should I do if I wanted to move it on X and Y?
Like write the same in
Y.
mouse Y.
Mouse Y, right? So if I do this, now this circle is moving as I do it, right? Is that okay? Okay, now have a question. Going back to the previous version, the one with the position X. If I run this and this guy is moving, at some point it's gonna disappear from the screen, right? It's going, and because position X is going and going and going, it's gone. Why is it gone?
Because it keeps adding values.
It's keep adding values, and then the value is so big that it doesn't fit on the width of the screen, right?
Yeah.
What can I do if I want to do it back and forth, back and forth?
Maybe you can use an if, like if position X goes to 500.
If position X is bigger than the width of the screen, yes.
You should like loop it. I don't know how to repeat it, but then you should use something to repeat it.
Maybe instead of plus plus, the position needs to be the position -1 in order to go into the other side.
Okay, okay, we can do something like that, but okay, if you say position X minus minus, you saying that? Do you think this will work?
I think so.
Okay, let's give it a try. Is everybody okay? So the value is
Like-
lower than the width.
It
It's
will
going,
like bounce in the barrier, I think.
and then it's getting, and then it's there. But it got to stop it. Now it's not moving.
So we can-
Actually,
Plus plus, it's still working, so it just cancels itself.
it's not more than it's canceled, but it's more like if you, let me do this. What we are saying here is that if the position X is bigger, so we have a screen, right? Then we have, is this position lower than the width? Yes, right? No. Is it bigger? No, so we increase. Is it bigger? No, we increase. Is it bigger? Is it bigger? No, then we increase. If it's bigger, no, then we increase. There will be a certain point when it is bigger, right? When the circle is here. Is it bigger? Yes, this is the first time that it will be bigger. Then we will subtract the position X, and then the circle, which was here, because the value is here, right? We are gonna subtract 1, okay? But then we are gonna increase 1. So if it was, let's say, 499, and then the width is 500, at some point, 500 will be 500. So it will become 499, but then we are gonna increase it to 500. Then we come back. If it's 500, yes, will become 499. At this point, will be always 499. But this one will be increased to 500. And then we're gonna be keep doing, and we will be always in 500. So in certain way, it is what one of you guys said, that it is annulating, right?
Can you like maybe put if pose X bigger than width, pose X equals to 0?
Oh, okay. So if pose X is bigger than width, then pose X is equal to 0. If we do something like this, now it's going back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
However, well, that's nice. What happens if what we want is going back and forth, back and forth?
Well, in that case, you will need to use something like, I don't know, a for. So if you enter in the condition of the if, you will do the other command that it's pose x minus minus until you reach again the value of 0, maybe.
The logic is right, but if you have a for inside here, the for will happen all of it at the beginning on the same draw, okay? So it could be immediately, it will go immediately to 0.
So do you need to make another function?
Maybe. That is called what?
I don't know, Boolean?
Oh, yes. Maybe we can have Boolean and then we can have direction. But actually it would be better if we, right, create something like, for example, a float for setting up the velocity, okay? And the velocity will be 1, okay? So if it's bigger than width, okay? Is that okay? And then what will happen, I will remove what we have here, okay? If it's bigger than width, then the velocity, right, will be multiplied by -1, okay? And then if the position x is equal 0, okay, or is smaller than 0, okay, then the velocity will be multiplied, okay, times again, oh well, actually also time -1, so we will fix this in a second, okay, and then the position x will, we are gonna be adding all the time a 1, okay? We can go into that. Let's see if this works, because I'm not, oh, not by 1, but by velocity, okay? So we are now going this direction, and now we are going this direction. And now we are going this direction, right? Why? What's happening in this point? Well, that this part that is happening here, this part that is happening here, right, is always adding a value, always adding a value to position. But value, which in this case is velocity, sometimes has a value of 1 and sometimes has a value of -1. Because velocity is 1, which is positive, when we reach this position, +1 times -1 will become -1, right? And at that point, velocity will have a negative value, and then in reality, we will be subtracting to position x plus -1, right? Now, when we reach the left side of the window, when the value is 0, then the velocity will be multiplied also by -1, right? And then we have -1 times -1 will be minus plus, and then will be +1, and then velocity will be positive Therefore, we will be actually adding plus positives, and then we will have +1. Did you get
Teacher,
it?
I have a doubt.
Yes.
Can we do like the same thing in the color of the circle? Like every time the circle is moving forward, it will be like changing its color like a sweep on green scale.
Yes, we can do something like this. So if we want to do something like this, we will need to.
And teacher,
Yes.
if we put the second if first, we only have to put velocity equals to 1.
No, you will need to have the evaluation in both situations, which actually we can do it in this way. If position equals is bigger than width, or, how can we type or? No, or, right? Position X is smaller than width. We can do this, right? So it's either this one or this one. Do you remember about this or, right? This is a way for saying or. Okay. Now you are saying that you want to change the color. That is interesting too, because then, by the way, if you can see, we do not have brackets here. Oh, we do not have brackets here. Okay. We do not have brackets here. If we are only going to place one line of code, we do not need this kind of curly brackets. Okay, but now that we will be doing two things, we do need to put curly brackets. And here we can do the same with the color. We can change the color, right? So if this is happening, we can say that the color, that the color should change. For now, okay, I don't remember who asked the question about the color, but we can do something like saying, for example, a random, okay? Each time that something is hit, we are gonna select a random number between 200 and 200. And then each time that it hits something, it should change color. Put it. Okay, now it's yellow. Now it's green. Now it's yellow. Now it's
also we can make it
another.
faster, no? Like multiplying the velocity by -2.
Oh no, by the if the velocity, yes, actually yes. If the velocity starts in, no, but actually in the velocity this is 5, okay? But the multiplication, this is not the speed, this is just changing the sign. This is for changing the sign. But actually here we have the speed, right?
Right.
So now it's moving faster, right? Now the color is changing. I don't know if you see it, but for some reason it's just changing between yellow and
green.
And green, okay? It's in
Well,
yellow.
maybe in that case you can add another random in the other 255.
Yes, but what I really don't understand is why it's just giving us two numbers. It seems like it's giving us either 255 or and not as a floating point number, which I don't understand why is that happening. Maybe they changed something in this. I don't understand why is this number giving us just, I will do a temporal, I'm gonna say int, right? Temporal value, it's equal to random number here, right? Because I want to see what's happening here. And then I will use this one because I want to see println what's happening with this value that we have here. Is that okay? Now, what is happening with random number? Oh, I see. Because
It's integral, right?
Because this should be a floating point number. Okay. Now, if we run this, each time that we jump, we will see 175, 205, 20, 240, 40, 76. So it's actually creating numbers between 0 and 255. This should be fine because then the number is here. Okay? Yes, I think it's just because of the resolution of the screen, and it is actually changing colors. Green, yeah, it's a kind of blue, kind of, yeah, it is changing. It's just that the gradients of color are too soft. Another option that we can do, by the way, is the one that you were mentioning. If we want to have a gradient, right? Instead of doing it by random, we can do it, right? We are gonna select this and it's gonna start with color, right? And the field will be based on the position of X. However, the position on X is something that is going between 0 and 500. And this application, the color should go between 0 and 255, right? So we can use a function like map that will give us a number that should go between 0 and 2, between 0 and width should go actually between 0 and 255, and then the value that we are mapping. And probably you're going to start to get some questions here, right? Actually, it's the other way around, is the value it's not.
Shouldn't that be outside of the if?
No. Oh, you're right. This, if that is the case, then should go outside of painting the circle. You are right. In that case, we change the color. And then it's going from black to white to black to white. Okay. Now, I'm just wondering, because there are no questions. You are too shy, maybe, because I bet that some people could have questions about the line that we have here. So please don't be shy and ask if you have questions. The map function will be changing ranges. If you have something that is going between 0 and 1,000, and you want it to go between -5 and 5, right? For some reason, well, you can say, please, these are the value that I want to map between, this is the input value and this is the output value. Because width, we know it is a value of 500 pixels. We are saying something that should go between 0 and 500 should be mapped to go between 0 and 255. Okay, it's just a way for saying this is my input range and it should go to this output range. My input range should go to this output range, and this is the value that I want to map, okay? So that's it. Okay, with this, I think we have a pretty decent, okay, a decent introduction about the regular processing application. This is the way that we were working 10 years ago. This is a program that's been running for many years now, okay? And it's straightforward, right? Common. It's any questions so far at this point? No, not at all. Is this something obvious for you? Is this something new for you?
Teacher, I get a little bit lost. Why you put in the velocity -1?
Okay, I see. I'm gonna try to explain it in another way.
Please.
Yes, absolutely. You have a screen, right?
Yeah.
That has a value that has these are in coordinates x. This is 0, and this is 500, right?
Yeah.
Now, you have a position, a parameter that defines the position, an integer, or it's an int that says the current position, right? Which at the beginning is 0. And you have a float number or int, which is a velocity, which at this point is 5, okay? Let's say that it's 5, okay? On each cycle, on each time that you draw the screen, this is an if that sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't. But this line 19, happens all the time, okay? All the time. So if velocity equals 5, could you tell me where is the first drawing in the circle? Where will be the circle draw the first time?
0?
Yeah, 0. And the second time?
On 1?
No, we said that velocity will be 5.
Okay, 5.
5. And the next one?
10.
Okay, and the next one 15 and 20 and so on, right?
Yeah.
If we don't have these 3 lines of code, this thing will go to 500 and 505 and 510, right?
Yeah.
Now, what we are saying is that when position x is bigger than 500, okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Or, it means or, okay? Or position x is smaller than 0, okay? Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
This should happen. So what is the value of velocity?
-1?
No, velocity.
The 1 and 5.
No, just the value that we said that velocity will have. You already told me that.
Yeah, I told you 5.
It's what?
5?
5. So if it's 5 and you multiply it by -1, what are you gonna get?
No, -5.
-5. And if you are in -5, what are you gonna get?
-10.
No. How much is a -5 times -1?
5.
5. 5 times -1?
-5.
-5 times -1?
5.
Okay, so it's a way for going negative, positive, negative, positive, right?
Right.
negative, positive, which then you are gonna convert it to a negative value, okay? So when you are going here, you are going positive, okay? Until this happens, which is the position X is bigger than width. So when position X is 495, you have +5. Then you reach this position, your position becomes 500, right? But
Yeah.
then your velocity should becomes -5, right? And then you start to decrease. 490, 485, 480, and then when you are going this way, you are in a negative velocity until, because this has the or, right? Until position X is smaller than 0. This condition happens only when you reach the right border. This is the right border, actually, this is the right border. And this condition that we have here happens only once when you hit this border, right? I don't know if this explained or not the question.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes? Yes.
I have a doubt. What is the meaning of the parameters
The meaning of the parameter, what, sorry?
in map?
Oh, map. Okay, so imagine that you are working with the years. You have something that is giving you the day of the year, right? How many days do we have in a year?
365.
365 days. Yes. Imagine that for some reason you want to create MIDI node for each day of the year, and you have, how many nodes do you have in the MIDI format?
127.
117. So your node can be from 0 to 127 nodes. You can, there is basically a rule of 3. How do you say regla de tres in English? I don't know. Okay, but it's basically a rule of 3, right? You will have to write, if 0 is equal to 365, X is equal to, oh, how do you write an X is equal to 127, then you multiply this one and then you divide by this one. Or do you remember that? I don't remember.
Yes, it's like that.
Right? Okay, so it's the same. This is a way for doing a correlation. And basically, in that case, you will say, if we are in January, the first day of February will be the day 31, right? More or less, right? Right? And then you know that you have your input from going to 365, and your output should be from 0 to 127, okay? And then you say, give me, which will be the range in this new range, which will be the value in this new range, if my input is going from 0 to 65, okay? So this is the input range. These parameters are the output range. And this is the value that you want to correlate, right? So you have input, number of days, You have output, MIDI node, and you give the node that you want to convert in the same way that you do it on a rule of 3, or I don't know, right? In this particular case, what we are saying is my position, right? Which I know that can go between 0 and 500, right? Should be mapped to something between 0 and 255, right? Which is my range of color. And this is range of pixels. Because position X is treating pixels, and we want to work with color, we want to convert the input of size to the range of color in order to use it in the field, which is expecting ranges between 0 and 255, right? Does that explain? Are you sure?
Yes, I think I understand.
Okay, if you don't get it, you can just say I don't, and I will do it again and again until you get it. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Okay, now I will give you 25 minutes to install the program, right? And do a modification, okay? I want you now to draw 2 circles. One that is going up and down, right? And one that is going left and right, left and right. So at this point, we have one that is moving from here to here. And I want you to add one that is moving from here to here, back and forth, back and forth. So this is moving here and going back, here and going back. At the same time, you will have one that is going up and down, okay? Could you do that, please?
Teacher, I have, well, I can do that, but
yes.
I have a doubt about the program. Well, not this program, but with Super Collider and MAP and Sublime. I have already a lot of programs in my computer, and I only have like less than 10 gigabytes left. So are we gonna use again Super Collider or Sublime?
Yeah, Sublime for sure, because we are still working with the Web Audio API, right? And Super Collider, it depends if you are gonna work with your final project with Super Collider. You will have to decide what do you want to do. So some of you guys were gonna work with web things, and some of you guys may work with Super Collider. So you will be free. A Super Collider is not as big, so probably you have more other programs that you could delete. But if these are the ones that you want to delete, well, you decide. But yeah, okay.
Okay, I will make a decision now. Just for downloading. It is Sketch.
What, Sketch? No, this one.
Oh, which is the name of the program?
No, this one is called Processing.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to be honest, we are not. Well, okay. Well, to be honest, we are gonna work on this one just a little bit, the next half an hour, because we are gonna move everything to the web. Okay. But it's easier for me to explain you these concepts on the program, and then we will move to the JavaScript. So, well, actually, it will be important to do it here. So, could you do that?
Yeah.
Teacher,
okay. Yes.
How do we create a new circle?
A new circle? Oh,
yes.
You just need to. Oops. You just need to call this twice. If you do this, and you do another one at 500, okay? One will be moving and the other one will not be moving, right?
Okay.
And actually, if you do this, one with color and the other always white, then we have a Sushito announcement, okay? Okay, so yeah, it's the logo of Sushito, isn't it? So you understand what is happening, right?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm not, okay. So could you do that? Could you work on that exercise? Download processing, install processing, and write this code in such a way that you have two circles, one moving to the other. I'm gonna download this so you can have all the code here. Please do that.
How many time do we have?
How many time? I would say 15 minutes. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Good. How can I give you this code so you can start? I'm gonna copy this code to the chat, right? I'm gonna copy this code to the chat because I need to work on the next part. Okay, that's it. On the chat, you have the code, okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Teacher, how can I make bigger the font of the code?
Oh, if you go to the preferences, okay? If you go to preferences, you will go and it says the font for the code and the font for the console.
Oh, I see. I think it was like other coding programs where you press control and.
Oh no, this one you cannot, it's fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Teacher, how do you get bigger the code?
Oh, go to the preferences. Let me show you my screen.
Okay, okay.
Do I
Because
need to?
I'm trying Command Plus, but
Oh, no.
yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Teacher, we need to make it the circle go up and down, right?
Yes. One is going left and right, and the other one is going up and down.
Okay.
Teacher, I already have it, but it gets stuck on the way back. The circle doesn't go back. I don't know why.
Could you share me your screen, please?
Same problem.
Ah, it's gone. Okay, well, one thing that is that maybe it depends on the size of the window, and that could influence the situation, but probably you want to have different velocities, okay? One velocity for the X and one velocity for the Y. Now, if you don't mind, stop sharing the screen so people could work on their own solution. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, I have
Teacher.
it ready, teacher.
Okay. Please, on the chat, raise your hand and put it in blue once that you have it. Okay, so I can be tracing how many people it's already finished, right?
Teacher, I only put pose X in the middle and it works properly.
You only
No
put
lag.
what?
I only put pose X in the middle.
Okay. What do you mean in the middle of what? Sorry, I need more context.
Sorry. In the you have 255. Well, the position, I think. So you.
Let's wait a few minutes and let's do this. Once that pretty much half of the group or more some more guys have the solution, we are gonna see a couple of examples, because there are many ways for solving this, and
thank
then
you.
we can check yours and just see the differences, right? But it's important that everybody give it a try. So let's give it a few more minutes, right? Okay, let's give it a half of the class has it, a little bit less than half of the class. Let's give it a few more minutes. If you have questions, the people that hasn't finished, please just ask. Okay, I guess pretty much most of you have it working, right? Most of you have it. Fernanda is missing, and Sebastian, Pablo Escamilla, and Aldo, and Fernanda. Is there something that we can do in order to help you, Aldo, Fabian, Fernanda, both Fernandas?
Which Fernanda, Professor? Sorry.
It's me.
Okay,
Okay. Sorry, sorry.
it's okay. Pablo, Fernanda, and Fabian, are you having any kind of problems or questions?
No, teacher. I need to raise my hand or something?
Yes, if you have the code working, the two circles, one going up and down, you just
okay.
have to raise your hand.
I didn't know.
Okay. Pablo and Fernanda, how are you doing?
No, I'm doing fine as well. Don't worry.
Okay.
I was just having trouble with the up and down circle, but I got it now. Thank you.
Okay. Are you sure everything good? Yes?
Yes, thank you, Professor.
Okay. So, okay, if everything is fine, I'm going to share my screen again. Give me a second. Oh, share the screen. Okay. Well, so far then, what we were asking is to create two different circles, right? In order to create two different circles, or to move this circle, probably we are also going to need another variable. So I'm going to use position x, okay, position y. And position y will be increasing in the same way than this one. So in the same way, the position y will be increasing with velocity, right? And we will be using this position y for the second circle. However, if I run this code, my circle position y is not, oh, this should be again in 200. Actually, I don't know if you are watching the screen or not, let me know, but if instead of 200, I say height over 2, height is a global variable that gets the size of the program. And then this one, I put it in width over 2. And then I put position y here. Maybe we should have something working, right? One of them is always black, and the other one is changing color, and the black is not changing color. What about if we decide that this one that is not changing color, use also what we have on map? If we are gonna use something twice, it's a bad idea to be working with the parameters, right? So we can create the, well, at this point, we will need it with position y, so they need to be different values. So position y, okay, it's gonna be equal from 0 to width, but I will change the range. Instead of going from 0 to 255, it will go from 255 to 0. I'm changing the mapping, okay? In that way, one is going to black, while the other is going to white, okay? So you get the idea, right? And if you any question about this, did you do it in another way? Are you something that you are not understanding in this piece of code? No, everything fine?
Thank you.
I put post X in the part of the height, and it works similar.
You
like
put You put what, pardon me?
Pose X, I only put pose X in the part of the height.
Okay.
Instead of you put height over 2, I put only pose X.
Instead,
beginning?
at the beginning, instead of putting pose, could you tell me the line in this code again?
Okay, in my circle, I have the 255.
Could you tell me the line of the code that we're working?
Okay, 15.
Okay, line 15 in circle
Well,
pose.
this 15 is the first circle, right?
Yes, is the first circle.
Okay, in my second circle, your line
17.
17. I have 255 of width.
Okay.
And in the part that you have pose Y, I have pose X.
Oh, okay. You use the same. Yes.
works the same.
Instead of defining two positions, right? You define just one position, right?
Yeah.
Yes. This should be, and then you just have one position, right? And this should also work.
Yeah.
But however,
I don't know why.
Yeah, well, it's working because our size has 500 and 500. The problem of that, actually, the problem of having that is that if we decide to change the size, and this is going to be now 800, okay, and 500, now one of them will not go in the proper direction because you are just assuming that it has the same width and the same height, right? That's why it works if the sketch is a square. But if the sketch is not a square, you will actually need to have position Y on here and then create all the stuff that we just had a second ago, which is position Y, right? And then the position Y, it's going to be on the circle, position Y and position Y, right? And actually, the big problem here is that it will be happen the same problem. These do not fix the problem, right? These do not fix the problem. You will have to have both one velocity for X, okay? One velocity for Y, okay? And actually, we could have them at different speeds if we want to. That will be a different velocity. And then we will have velocity for X, velocity for X, velocity for Y, right? And then we will need to do the two evaluations in different ifs. If position Y is equal now to the height, velocity of Y will change. So you have to think it in two different domains. So you can have one at one speed and the other one in another speed. It would be the more robust solution because you are treating two different territories, speed and collision for one ball and speed and collision for the other ball, right?
Teacher, what is height over 2?
Height over 2, height is just basically because my size is 500, height will be always 500, and I divided over 2, it's going to be 255. It's a way for getting the middle of the screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now, why are we saying it? Why did I ask you to do this? Okay, previous classes last year that I was teaching this, it was very easy to move on. And then in the top of the processing version, you can add modes, right? And you could add the Android version if you want to create an Android application with this, or you can write in different territories. This one, right? It's a way for writing JavaScript codes, okay? However, unfortunately, Now this piece of code is broken, and then this piece of code is broken, and in some versions this should work, and in other versions this is not working. Okay, never mind. Why? Okay, but this code is this code is important. Okay, we have this code that we did in our processing. Then let's go back to our documentation. If we're in our documentation of processing, okay, we will see that we were working with this version and with this documentation. There is a cosine, which is P5 JavaScript. This is the same logic for doing animations, but you can work on JavaScript. And how does it work? Well, the first thing that you have to do is load is it recording? By the way, I hope that this class is being recorded. Let me just 1 second. And
yes, yes, teacher.
This is being recorded, teacher.
Oh, okay, good. Otherwise, we will be in problems. Okay, now, if you, I hope that the videos are working for you and that it's a good resource for you. Okay, now we have the documentation of JavaScript. So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to open a new and completely new window, right? As we'll be working before. And then I will go to my documentation of JavaScript. And in the documentation, it says how to start. Well, you can do an editor and things like that. But for now, I will go to the Get Start page. Okay. You can download a file if you want to, okay? And I can download the file, but I can alternatively, you can link to the file that is hosted online. So a simple HTML page, like what the thing that we are watching here, looks like this, okay? So I will copy this, okay? And I will paste it here. I will save this file and I will save it in our new class number 11. And this is basic process, okay? And I will save it. What's happening here? We have an HTML page. We have the header. We have the body. Inside the header, look, this is important. We have a JavaScript that is connected to a source that is outside of our server. This is connected to the internet. It's connecting to the internet. Please download this library, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And then we have a second script. This is the first one. This is the second script. Okay? And the second script is connected to a file that we have on the same directory. How do we know that it's the same directory? Well, we have to remember, right, that if something starts with HTTP, for example, when you're loading an image, you are going to the web. If something starts with the name audio.mp3, it is expected that the place where you are loading this script, which is probably our index.html or something, a web page, this is the content of my folder, the mp3 should be in the same folder, right? If the thing starts with a slash, right? audio.mp3, that means at the beginning of your computer, which usually it's very hard to do it, especially if you are working on the web with a server. This means at the beginning of the root directory of your computer, okay? If something starts with /audio.mp3, it is the same meaning than this one, in your directory. If something says, for example, audios / audio.mp3, that means that it's inside a folder. For example, that would be if the case if I have a new folder and I have it audio. Inside the audio, I have my MP3, if that is the case. Okay? Am I explaining properly?
Yes.
And if something starts with 2 dots / audios / trial.mp3, okay, that means that you have to go first one directory up and then search for this folder. If something starts 2 dot / 2 dot / audios, that means jump to the parent directory and then jump to the parent of the parent directory. So if that is the case, how can I see this? Audios, the folder, if this is my web audio, audios should be here. I don't know, webs main web audio class, and this is my folder of audios that should be on main, right? Because now on the Mac computer is nicer to see the tree. We have the audio folder in top of my audio class on top of this one, right? So why are we saying this? Because we are saying this should be on the web and this script should be on the same directory. Well, then let's do, okay, that's it. Let me go back and put my audio in my class and my audio. Hi, what's going on here? Web audio, and that's it. Okay. Okay, so this file that is basic processing, right? I will save it on my class, and then here I have my basic processing. Then I rectify that I have my MAMP working, and then if I go to my MAMP, I will go to the web audio class 11, and here I will open my debugging here, and then I will clear it, and then I will go to basic processing. And voila, I have a small problem here.
I think it's in the script because you closed the script before you code.
Yes, but this is because you think is where?
In the script, because it's a script, then you close the script, then you open the script. I know, wait, yeah, it's closed. I don't know why. Then,
yeah,
sorry.
okay, but I don't think the problem is not here. Something is weird. Something is weird in this sense. Okay, this is a problem. Okay. Oh, I know a couple of things that are happening here. Well, let me save this one. Let me save this one with another name. Okay. Basic processing class, because this is what is happening during the class. Okay. And then I will go to my browser. I will refresh my browser and I open it. Okay. It says on code in promise, a sketch is not defined. Oh, and then I will say a sketch class. Okay. And it says that the basic processing class, the file sketch class, we abort everything because it was not found, right? This code is making a reference to a script that is on the web, which is fine, and a script that is on our folder. Do we have on our folder a file called a sketch class? No, we don't. That's the problem. So I will create a new file, okay, that I'm gonna save it as a sketch class.javascript, right? And inside that, I will put the code that I just did in processing, okay? Although I don't know if size will work. Well, let me save it, okay? And then I will refresh my browser. And then there is an error. Uncode syntax unexpected identifier in a sketch class. Okay. Oh, these should be called variables, right? These are actually variables. Okay. And I will save it and I will refresh. The sketch class. Okay. Okay, let's start with something very simple first, and I will create a circle at 20, 20. Okay, this should be fine at this point. I save sketch class. Oh, so the problem is not in the sketch class, but on our, probably on our basic processing class. Basic processing class. This is saved, and sorry for having all of this open. I don't think it was a good idea. We have our sketch class, right? We have our sketch class, which is opening and closing, That's fine, a sketch class. And we have our file that is here, basic class. So if I refresh here, could you help me to solve this issue? In class 11, sketch class JavaScript 1. Let's go back to our documentation. Yeah, I will do it. Like 15 minutes. All right. Okay, now let's go and then check what we have here. Oh, voila. The problem, apologize for that, is that on JavaScript, we don't say void, right? We say function. So this should be function setup, right? And function drop, okay? And if that is the case, we go back to our web page and I refresh. And now we have a small circle, okay? Then we have, oh, maybe we also do need this size 500, 500, okay? I save and I refresh. Size is not defined. That means that we cannot call the function size here. Let me make this smaller and then we do this in 100 times 100, okay? And then we refresh. The size is very small, okay? Let me decrease this one, refresh, and then going to here. And then we have the circle here. What I'm trying to explain is that there are many similarities between processing as an application, right, which is the one that we have here, and processing as a script in JavaScript that we can embed in our web page. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what we are gonna do at this point is linking the audio with our sketch, and that we are gonna be doing today. So once that we have the sketch class, let me show you what I was working a few minutes ago, which is the following. Now I can go to the basic, and then I can go to the sketch, and I can go to the audio. Okay. Okay. First of all, we have this HTML, right? Similar to the one that we just did. It's just referencing to another file. Okay, that's it. Now let's go back to our sketch. The sketch actually didn't have this audio in it here, right? I'm going to remove the audio in it, and I will go to my browser to open basic processing, and it is actually making the drawing and the circle, okay? Because what we have here. And I'm also creating, there is a small difference also in basic processing. No, not yet. On here, I'm creating my audio JavaScript here, where I have my audio context and then my functions that are here. Is that okay? I'm just checking that I have an audio context, that the audio context is opening, and then creating the audio context. And inside the setup, I'm calling the function that is initting the audio that we have here, okay? So I just want to be sure, because I think I did a little bit of a messy situation here, okay? And this is also one with a similar version, but now I'm loading my drawing library from processing. I'm loading another script from the audio. I'm loading another script from my sketch. I'm loading an audio here, okay, and that is test. And in the sketch, I'm loading just the graphical part, and I'm calling the init audio. This is important to understand. Init audio is a function that is on the audio JavaScript. We can call functions from one script into another. You will have a more clarity in a few seconds. But if everything is fine, and I go back to my test, we should have a circle, and we should have an audio context that has been created, okay? And which is pretty nice, because we have graphics from processing with the audio Java context, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So first of all, then I will close all the files that we're not working with, because we're working basically with 3 files at this point. Test HTML, right? Test HTML, that is loading processing, loading an audio JavaScript. This is the one that we are writing. We most of the time have been writing the script inside the HTML, but we can just write it in another file, but we have to make the reference. And then one for the graphics, okay? And in the body, we create an audio source, okay? In the same way that we've been doing. And the audio source is trial MP3, which is also on the audio. Oh, interesting. We do not have the trial MP3 here. So I just need to copy from the previous class this trial. I will copy that trial to here, okay? This is one audio file that one of you guys sent at some point, which is an MP3, okay? So theoretically now, in the audio context, I can do the same things that we've been doing before. And then here we have a track. And in the init audio, if there is no audio context, I will create it. And then I will also create my track. It's going to be equal. And then I will have to go to the previous class to remember how are we loading audio files. And then we need a audio element. Do you remember? I'm just copying and pasting from my last class assignment or as a project. And then I will need also an audio element. Okay, this audio element is getting by the ID mi sonido. So I will create a variable audio element. And the audio element will be this one, okay? And then my track will be equal to, I'm going back to the place where we're doing the track. Once that we have the audio element, we go to my audio, and then I have my track. It's equal to the audio context create element from my audio element, where the variable audio element is getting from the document get element by ID my sonido, where my audio element my sonido it's here making a reference to an MP3 file. Okay, and then I just need to connect my track dot in the same way that we did in the assignment. My track should be connected to the audio destination. So track dot connect to the audio destination, right? As far as we can see, this should be working. So if we just have to check that we don't have any kind of syntax error, I go to my browser, I refresh, and we have a small, no mistakes at all, right? We have a circle, right? We have errors about other things. And then we have a localhost favicon, no big deal, but we have an audio context. In addition to the audio context, I'm just curious and I want to see what happened if I debug what we should have on track, right? And also on audio element. I just want to be sure that we have the three elements properly referenced in my patch. So I don't forget to save, back to the browser, refresh, and it seems that the audio context is fine. Do we have a reference to my sonido? Yeah, that sounds good. Do we have a reference to a audio element source? As far as it seems, is good. Okay, this is init audio. Then we can write a couple of functions for playing. Play, right? Play an audio. Play audio. Okay. And then also a function for stop audio, right? Stopping the audio. How can we pause? Oh, it was with audio element pause and audio element play, right? Audio element pause and audio element play. Pause and play. That means that in the play audio, we can create audio element play and stop audio element pause. Is that okay? Now, on the graphical part, we can do a couple of things here. Okay, first of all, let's go back and check that everything is fine. It seems that everything is fine. I'm curious what could happen if I say play audio. Okay, is this going to work or not? Play audio element play, it's play audio, and play audio is here. I don't think it's going to work because play failed because the user didn't interact with the document first. We need to interact first with the document here, right? So maybe we can add something like a button or something like this, okay? So I was not very clear on this last description, but I want to see, you can be very honest and say, I didn't understand anything, or you can say, I get the idea, or you can say, I understood what is happening here.
Teacher,
yes.
I have a doubt. How do you route the processing part to this program? I forgot the name.
Okay, processing and the web audio API?
Yes.
Okay, first, this is just a small, first, this is our very basic HTML page, right? Most of the time we write our script things like in the, for example, let's study the version that we have here. This is something that we did last class. We have the HTML page, right? We have the content of the HTML. In the same document, we open the script. We close the script, we close the body, we close the HTML. We can very easily get all the content that we had of JavaScript, right? And put it in a new file. Save it with one name, and then here, just call it, instead of type, we can type source equals, and then my audio part.js. Okay? Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to break the other one. But this is the first thing that we have to understand. Then the second part is that we have to understand that scripts interact one with each other. A variable that is defined on audio JavaScript could be loaded on a sketch JavaScript and the other way around, okay? That means that we have a JavaScript code and an audio JavaScript code. We have two files that interact one with the other. Does that make sense? The sketch one is the one that we are using for writing the processing code, the graphical code, with our setup and with our draw, right? And the audio one is the one that we are using for turning on the engine, right? The engine, and for controlling audio materials. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
And inside the setup, which is a function that we know happens only one, we are editing the audio, okay? And then trying to play the audio. However, it seems that we have to wait until to end the audio when there has been interaction on the web page, okay? So in order to do that, first of all, I want to see how can I create on JavaScript, how can I create on JavaScript a mouse click, okay? Because we have done with the first example that we have here, and then, oh, mouse is pressed. It seems that we have a function create canvas, right? And then we have also a if mouse is pressed. That means that we have here a bunch of things that we can do, okay? If mouse is pressed. Okay, if that is the case, let's copy this section from here for right now. Okay, I'm just getting the examples that are on the getting start here. So I will modify the code that we have here, but don't forget about these two lines, which are the ones that we wrote. I will copy these ones here. Okay, I will save. I will go to my browser. I will refresh. And it seems that now the code is working, right? We have a small canvas where we are drawing, okay? So that means if you press it, so if it's pressed, then we can trigger the audio. Well, I'm just getting examples. I'm just mixing stuff, okay? Okay, so if that is the case, we need to init the audio once that it hasn't been created. Well, we can create it has been played. Okay, it's equal false. Okay, has been played. As soon as we do something here, like for example, mouse is pressed or ellipse, mouse X, mouse Y, whatever happened here, okay? Once that you click at least once, if mouse is pressed, fill, or mouse X or mouse Y or whatever, just the first time that something happens, right? We can be in and we can init the audio. Okay, we will init the audio on the first pass of draw, okay? On the first pass of draw, but not all the time. And then we can say, if has been played, okay, if this is true, if this is equal to has been played, we are going to start it false. If has been played is false, right? If this is false, which means this is false. Has been played is false. If has been played is false, which is then the negation of false, then please init the audio, okay, and set up has been false to true. And then in that case, we are going to call this just console log, just the first time draw has been called. Okay, it's just a solution for the problem that we are facing about turning on the audio when there has been interaction. Okay, let's see if this works. I refresh. And voila, now there is no problem with the audio, which means that this should be working. Okay, it seems that it's working. Then that means that in addition to init the audio, we can play our sound function. Remember that init audio, it's a function that is defined on audio, and play sound is a function that has been defined play audio also in the audio. So that seems that this should be play sound is not defined. It says that play sound is not defined. Oh, it's because it's play audio, right? Okay, same problem. Uncode in promise don't play fail because the user didn't interact with the document first. Okay, the problem hasn't been solved. We need to interact with with this first. Okay, maybe the best thing to do is just create a button here to turn it on. Okay, please turn on the audio for now. Okay, for now I'm just gonna create in my body an audio, and for now I will also create in my body a button. Okay, how can I create a button in JavaScript? Well, we just a button and ID turn on, right? A button ID turn on, and as far as I can remember, we can do something like that, and then close our button. Is this gonna work? Where is our button? I don't see my button here. Can you see your button?
No, I don't think so.
Button in JavaScript. Let's go to the school here. Button on click me button. Oh, because we need to put it a name maybe. Turn audio on. Okay, let's see. a button or something in our page, okay? So I don't know if you hear the computer. I don't know if I'm sharing the audio.
Yeah.
But
we hear
it
it.
start to work, right? One thing that I also want to do is BR. I think it's BR, so I can change line, okay? And then I can go again to, what is test? Yes, that's it, okay? But what we can do now, is, in addition to this, well, let me see if I can then remove this, because maybe it's as simple as, removing this once that we add the button, okay? I don't know if that is true or not. I really don't know, but I will check it. I will remove this section that we have here. I will save, okay? I will open again. Oh. No, in this case, it's not working, right? That means that, okay, that we have errors, failed because the user didn't interact first. So we cannot do it in that case. We need to put it here to be safe, refresh. Oh, it was working, right? I did a small change that I, okay, I will fix this in a second. We have this cage. If hasn't been played, init the audio. This is safe. This is here. This is here. This is our audio. Oh, okay. I will fix this in a second. But now, what I want to do is to connect. Okay, the audio has to be turned on. This audio has to be turned on once that the interaction has happened. Okay, I will fix that. But in the meantime, I will upload this code to you. How can I give you this code? I guess I will upload these 3 codes to you to the server, right? Which are trial, audio, a sketch, and test. These 1, 2, 3, and 4 files are the ones that we need. I will compress these files, okay? And then we have to add stuff, okay? Then I will open CyberDuck. I will connect to my server. And I will put on my folder public HTML, on my class web audio, on the class, oh, I haven't created class 11. So I actually will copy class 11 to here. You should have now, in a few seconds in the browser, okay, the content of our class 11. Inside class 11, you have a file called add stuff, just so we don't get confused with all the stuff that is there. Could you please download that file and make it run? But could you first try to solve, it's not easy, but try to solve the problem that we are having. How can we turn on the audio context and to start to play the audio element once that the audio file start playing, okay? So we have this, it's not working, but if we press on, the audio engine has been started, but now we cannot play the audio. So how can we solve this? This is the first thing that I want you to do. The second thing that I want you guys to do is changing the volume based on the location of the mouse, okay? Can you please change the volume based on the location of the mouse? If the mouse is to the left, the audio will be soft. If it's to the right, the audio will be high, right? And then later we are gonna add effects based on the position of the mouse. But for now, I just want to add the volume. Is that fine? Did I make clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, is that fine if we work 15 minutes while we do this?
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I also have to go to the bathroom, but let's wait. I see you here in 10 minutes once you have all of these in, working on your computer. Is that fine?
Teacher, where do we download the folder?
It's called audio stuff in the folder of the Web Audio API on our webpage, which is the webpage. It's called Ajolote Web Audio, okay, class 11 audio stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. See you here in a few minutes. Okay. Hello, I'm back. If you have any kind of questions or problems, it is 10:03. So just a few more minutes so you can download and start to think like that. Please, if you don't mind. In the meantime, I will solve the problem of the AUI button. Okay. But I'm here if you have questions. Okay.
Teacher, you don't need to press the start button, right? It starts by itself.
At this point, probably you are going to have a lot of problems to hear it. You have to press the button immediately that the page has been loaded in order to hear something. Otherwise, your program is not going to work, which is exactly what I'm trying to fix. If you find another solution, please do it. But in the meantime, what I'm doing here, I'm going to show you the screen. I'm not going to be explaining. Yes.
When I downloaded the program, well, when I go to the screen and run it in Google Chrome, it actually plays the sound immediately.
The one that I gave you?
Yes.
Is it working fine?
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to.
Mine
say.
too, actually.
When you
when you press the test, it starts by itself.
Okay, let me see what could be the problem with my code, because okay, I'm here, right? I'm class 11. Are you saying that as soon as you press test here, it works?
Yeah.
Yes. Directly on the server, right? But what happens if you do it on your code? Yes, you're all right. On the server is working fine, but as a local host, okay, it seems that as a local host, not. Okay, interesting. It seems that if I play it with localhost, it doesn't work. The same code that if I play on the server works fine. Okay.
Teacher, for me works the same in my local host and the server.
What computer do you have? Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Chrome or Safari?
No, I'm working on Chrome.
Chrome.
So I enter to Ajolote and play by itself, and in my local host.
Well, that's good. Look, if you're watching my webpage, what I did is that when I play it, you're right. When I play the file on the browser, you see that I'm on Ajolote. It works fine. When I play it on my local host, the same code that we have here, right? And I play the one that we have here. Now it's working. I don't know what could be the problem. It could be that maybe, okay, let's give it a try. I will close both files, okay? I will close Chrome completely. I will open Chrome again. And I will go to local MAM. And from here, I will go to the class 11. Wow, now it's working. I don't know why it's now working and it's working for everybody, but in the meantime, I want to show you something that we just found here. If I go to the history and I will go to, where is it? And I go to the history of my web pages, right? Now I have to wait for the mistake to happen, otherwise it's not gonna work. But okay, so in the meantime, why don't then you focus on the volume? Why don't you focus on the volume? In the meantime, while you're working on the volume, let me tell you that I removed the button and I'm getting the error again that I don't hear the sound. And I'm getting a message on my browser developer window that it's pointing me to a specific reference, right? This specific reference is telling me that there was an autoplay policy changes. Now it says the autoplay policy launched in this version has changed. This affects web games, some applications, and things like that, okay? So for terms of security, it says the audio web API will be including Chrome. First, we remind that it's good practice to wait for a user interaction before starting audio playback, and as user is aware of something happening. Think of a play button or on and off switch, for instance. You can also simply add a unmute button depending on the flow of the application. So the important part is here. If an audio context is created prior to the document receiving a user gesture, it will be created in the suspended state, and you will need to call resume after a user gesture is created. Okay, so that is the important thing. We need to call resume on things, right? If you create your audio context on page load, you will have to call resume at some time after the user interact with the page. Alternatively, the audio context will be resumed after a user gesture if a start is called on any attached node. So that's important thing that we need to do. But to be honest, probably having a button has some logic. So I'm gonna do it in that way. Okay. I just want to be sure that everybody knows what are you doing and that you are working on something with the code. Am I right? Hello, hello, are you around?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
teacher.
is everybody
Yes.
here? I will wrap this class just with a couple of announcements or details, right, that are important to understand. I feel that the last 20 minutes of the class could be a little bit messy or were a little bit messy because we were working, mixing these two things together. But I just want to then explain you a couple of things that you have to do in order to have your assignment properly done, okay? First of all, I think it would be a good habit to add the button, no matter that it was working. It could be a chance that the cookies or something in your browsers were activating already the page or something that I don't understand. But it should be a good practice to turn on the audio once that there was a user interaction. Therefore, on the test, right, I include a button, okay? I just include a button. Is that okay? Another thing that happens while you were working on your code, I move the script sections, right, from the head. Pay attention to this because it's very important. I hope that everybody is paying attention to this. I move the scripts, right, that were inside the head. I put them inside the body, okay? Why? Because I want these scripts to be loaded once that the page has been created. And that is important. Otherwise, we will have to add another set of functions. So I just move them, okay, towards here, okay? Second thing that I did, in the audio, okay, or actually in the sketch, I get a reference to the button object, as we know, and it was inside the button add listener click that I in the audio and play the audio, okay? That's also important. Probably that should happen only once that there is no audio context yet, okay? So if there is an audio context, then I image the audio and play the audio. Just have to press the button once, and then if there is no audio context, I create these materials, okay? Second thing, in the audio, well, the audio context has now a volume node in the same way that you well know at this point. And then there is play audio, stop audio, and change volume. This we will see this in a second. In the sketch where we are drawing, okay, in addition to the drawing that we have, that is just a game or whatever, right? I'm not gonna concern about the fill, to be honest. So I will remove this. I will put this in just very simple color here, right? Once that we have this create canvas, I will set up the fill to be like this. And then I will, if mouse is pressed, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna be drawing, okay, in this all the time, okay? And then let's see if we do have a background on this version of JavaScript in processing, because I want to refresh what we are doing, okay? I'm drawing a small position and I'm calling the function change volume to be equal to the position of the mouse divided over 640, because that is the size of my canvas, okay? In the audio script, I'm using that function to change the volume, but be careful. I will do that only if volume node exists, because it could be the case that I move the mouse without having initialized the audio, and then that would trigger an error. If that is the case, then, okay, I have this point here, I turn on the audio, and when I move to the left, I have, oh, apologize. I have, let me share my screen one more time because I make this mistake. Can you see my screen? But not the one that I should be sharing, right? Screen one. Okay, that's it. Okay. So all of that, I move the mouse and I change the volume to the Y, and then I volume down, volume up. You follow that? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, professor.
Yeah.
So, and then we can do the same. Maybe this could be the panning, and then the up and down would be the panning, right? Could be the up and down could be volume, and left and right could be panning. Oh, but you can be, yes?
Could you please go back to the code in Sketch?
Yeah, absolutely. I will send you this in a few seconds. I will upload it. Okay. But now, next assignment. Next assignment is a audiovisual relation. You have to get crazy now with the graphics because you can do very fancy things with processing, okay? And you can do something maybe like a DJ mixing, you know, that when a scratching LP, so you have an image of an LP that is rotating, and when you manipulate it, you hear wiki, 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 and you can be playing the audio file. You can do a mixer, a DJ mixer, or you can do, because now you have all the power for of the processing processing JavaScript, okay, for doing things that are very interesting, okay. So I want you to check that. Let me see, for example, what kind of things you can do, okay. Look, well, this is not very nice, but oh well, it's doing fancy things here. Or let's see, this is a circle of fifths. No, it's not working. You can go and check, for example, let's see if this is working. This is the code. And these are the kind of graphics that you can obtain, right? Or you can check, these are all materials, right? But some of these are, maybe some of them are already working, these kind of codes that we have here, right? Like this one, for example. And maybe each time that I press a button, I create a small audio sound, and then the sound change volume. And then you can create this kind of audiovisual experiences. You can create something like, I don't know, I'm just checking examples that I don't know, right? Like this one, okay? Maybe you can have something like this that is playing, and your sound is playing, or your synthesis is playing, and you have many notes playing at the same time with different frequencies, and you create an additive synthesis, and then your sounds changes, okay? You change over this, and you change over that. This is actually a very simple code. If you study the code, you will see that it's very simple, okay? So assignment, make an audiovisual experience based on this kind of examples, okay? I will share you this code. I will share it. I didn't know that it is Toxic Lips JavaScript, okay? There are many examples here. Arc coordinates, well, this is very simple, okay? But there must be something more like interesting. Oh, this is nice, right? Imagine that these are sinusoidals, and you can play with these, and you can add sound to this particular, you will hear something very interesting, and have something less, right? Or direction, you can play with the direction. So adding one sinusoidal to each one of these guys and playing them would be very fantastic, okay? Not very simple, to be honest, but if you have time, it's fine. If you are too busy with many of the other classes, I would understand and just make something very basic. But there are many ways for doing graphical things like these ones, right? explore this type of codes, explore this type of graphical codes, right? Like this one, interesting. It depends on where you put the mouse, right? These guys are moving. So you understand the assignment? Do you understand the assignment? Codes could be a little bit long, but these are just graphical things that are already in the sketch, right? This is just an example. You can do something way more basic than this. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to code this from scratch directly right now. I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm just saying that you can play with these metaphors or with these representations of sound with the things that you know. If it's very simple, it's fine. But I want you to do an audiovisual combination with the things that you know so far, okay? So we have something, you turn it on, you can modify the audio based on what is happening on the graphics, okay? So, any question?
Where were you watching the
examples?
those? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, when I went to the Processing GS exhibition, which I will put it in, actually, the assignment will be, I will put the code here. I will remove the files that we have, and on page, on the JavaScript, on the sketch, okay? Okay, I will put the links, okay? Just because it will be fine to have them in one place. From that place, I went to the Processing JavaScript exhibition. And from there, there are many ones. The ones that we were just watching, it seems that they exist on this web page, right? But probably in the exhibition, there are others. Some of them may be working, some of them may be not, okay? So let's be careful with that. Some of them could be old, some of them could be, yes. Oh, this is nice. No? Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you, Professor.
Don't get annoyed or frustrated if some of these codes are too big. I mean, if they are too big, don't worry. It's fine if you don't understand them. The only thing that I want you to do is to play a little bit with the graphical domain, because you can, with the force, you can create many graphics at the same time, in the same way that you wrote 2 of them. Do you remember? You can draw many of them, and I want you to connect the audio part, okay, the audio part with the graphical part that we have here. As an example, we turn on the audio in the graphical part, and we control the volume in the graphical part, okay? And the audio is our typical set of connections, okay? You can mix synthesis plus audio generation in the worst case scenario, okay? Or well, in a good case scenario, okay? Any other question?
Yes, teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
If we program our graphics on processing, how can we transfer them to use them on Sublime Text?
Oh,
because
okay.
Right now you made another graphics for the example with the volume.
Yes, I understand that. Before, let me opening the file. Before it was extremely simple because you just have to, let me go here. Let me go to processing, and then let me open the tech class, okay? If I go here, and then I will create a new file. I will create a new file, right? And then I move to PH. We have it here, okay? You can, what you cannot do, which is what I was trying to do, was converting directly one function to another. As you can see, this is in a Java, and this is in JavaScript, okay? They are similar. This has function setup, and this one void setup, void draw, right? But there are some differences that are important to know. For example, the one that we just saw here, right? That is the create canvas, okay? The create canvas. Instead of size, you have to type create canvas, okay? So instead of saying integer whatever, right? Integer val 5, you have to type it as variables, right? So let me say, well, change volume is not a function that we have here. And I don't know if create canvas will work here or not. But if I pray this one, look at this. It actually opening the, it's here, right? It opens your browser directly, okay? Am I explaining properly?
Yes.
Yes, the canvas is now big, 600. Yeah, it works, create canvas, okay? And it's already there, okay? You see that, but you won't be able to put the audio, the web audio API inside here, okay? So just be careful because the descriptions are here. You will have, once that you are done with this and you save it, I would save it like JavaScript example, okay? If you open that folder, in processing JavaScript example, what you will have now is the script here, okay? And now you have it in Sublime. So you don't need to work in Sublime for this until you add the audio, right? You can work with your graphics here, all your graphical complex thing here. Once that you finish doing the graphical things, right? You open the file that you save, you copy that to Sublime, and in Sublime, okay, you add the audio functions, okay? Because this could be in the audio actually. This is something that could be actually in the audio section instead of the, okay, the sketch. So the only thing that you will have to do is include the functions that make something in the audio domain, which is pretty nice, right? Did I explain this in a proper way?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me just check that with the change that I did. This is still working. Yes, it's still working, which is good. Because then, again, making a recapitulation, you open processing, okay? But before writing the code, you create a new file. Pay attention to this and we finish the class. You go here and you go to Añadir Modo if you don't have it. You search for P5GS, okay? You install it, Añadir Modo install, okay? Añadir Modo PS install. I already have it installed. Once that it's already installed, you can switch to the JavaScript. You start to write all your code. You can check it directly. It's going to open a server and you will see the code here. It does nothing because the code has nothing, but it is working. Once that you know that it's working, you save the file. You go to the place where you save the file. In the place where you save the file, you will have all these materials. And there you will have the JavaScript code. The JavaScript, you drag it to, you open it now in Sublime, okay? And then you start to include all the audio parts. Does that make sense?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, good. And then just making nice things, maybe a synthesis with 20 circles that they are just moving, and each circle is attached to one sinusoidal, and you're going to start to hear something interesting, right? Well, it's 10:40. Thanks for your time. I hope that you enjoyed this class. We are starting to work with the graphics. It's going to be interesting for some of you guys that want to do graphics in your projects, and it's going to pop up a lot of mechanics for doing graphical interfaces, for example. It's more and more attractive to make graphical interfaces with this technique than with the regular HTML sliders, because here you can break the paradigm of the regular slider and you can add weird knobs or things like that way more easily. Okay, so if that's it, see you next Saturday.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
And
day.
one more time, if you have questions
you.
and you want to have a personal meeting, just send me a WhatsApp or a mail, and we arrange a time during the week where I can help you if you feel that you are getting behind or if you feel that you have any kind of question. Is that okay?
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay,
Have a
Have a
good
good
week.
weekend.
you too. Enjoy.
Thank you, teacher. Very quick question.
Yes.
Are there more lines on the code that change when you switch from Java to JavaScript?
Oh yeah, there are many functions that are not part of the JavaScript and the other way around. It will be very important that you go to the documentation. Okay, you will have to go to the documentation of processing. Okay, processing is going to be important. It's going to be important that you go to the documentation of processing org and you go here, okay? Because these are the different references. Look, there are many things that are not present and there are many things that are present here, okay?
Okay.
For example, in the part where we have the size, okay? Control F, we don't have size, right? We do not have size here, okay? The other things pretty much similar. Okay.
Well, perfect. Thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.